Kia ora, everyone, and welcome to Doc Edge Festival and another live Q&A. My name is Dan Shannon. I'm from the Doc Edge team. And with me right now is Paweł Łoziński, who is the director of The Balcony, the movie, which is one of the 113 films in the festival. So, Witam, Paweł, nice to see you.
Witam, Dan. Hi, Dan. Nice to see you. Nice to hear you, and great that I can be online with you this early morning in Poland.
Early morning and late night here, and
Yes.
late evening here, but it's also, I can see it's quite bright and sunny. And just to let everyone know that you are traveling at the moment, you're on holiday, and if we hear the birds in the background, that's why, right?
Yes, this is my camper van. This is the interior. If somebody of you saw my film Father and Son from 2013, this is the same camper van that I traveled with my father from Warsaw to Paris, and we made two films together in the end.
That's right. At the end,
it was quite a dramatic, dramatic story.
Dramatic story, but this is a totally different film, Fathers and Sons. Check it out.
Yeah. Yes.
But now we're here to talk about The Balcony, the movie, and which is a fantastic film. One of my favorite in the festival this year, and one of the reasons is that our tagline for the festival is "Life Unscripted."
Mm-hmm.
And for me, watching this film was life unscripted at its best. Now, my first question to you, we'll give some stats from making the film. It took you 165 days to shoot the film, 2.5 years to make it. You talked to 2,000 people. But how do you, I'd like to start with the idea of making this film. Was it pre-COVID or was it once COVID hit it? Because it could come as a result of COVID, but it might have not.
No, it didn't. No, Dan. It was completely a pre-COVID movie. I started in 2018, and I was thinking that I have a balcony and I have my neighbors or other passers-by, and I don't have an idea for a new movie. So I was thinking about putting a camera because in this balcony, I'm sitting very often with my wife if we have a free time and we are chatting. But I was always so curious, who are the passers-by, the people who are coming from the left side or the right side of the balcony, and sometimes they are speaking on the phone, sometimes they are quarreling, sometimes they are very sad or very happy. So I was wondering, what if I add the camera to this setting, balcony, neighbors, and camera, and me behind the camera with questions, simple questions about the meaning of life. What will be the result? It will equal a film or not? So it was kind of experiment, I was not sure if it works or not.
So at one point making this film, you realized it was a film?
I realized after, let's say, 2 months of shooting, because the people started to keep coming back, because I knew that it's not enough for a film that if each protagonist will be shown only one time. So I need the people who will be like in the main characters, main roles. So after 3 months, they keep coming back. So I was pretty sure, let's say that you are never sure, but I was 80% sure that it will be a movie from these encounters.
And this kind of movie, it's hard, I would imagine, to decide when to end it or how will it end. So you shot it for over 165 days, as we said. Well,
yes.
What was the point that you said, this is it, I have it?
Pandemic saved me from this, because in 2020 people started to wearing the masks, and in March 2020 all the topics of our conversations completely changed because the main topic was the virus. So I decided to stop shooting the balcony movie, and I was asked by HBO Poland to shoot a small 10-minute film from the series of their entitled At Home. They asked several other directors to make the movie, animation, documentary, or a fiction one without going out from their houses. So I was the only one, and my setting was just, I have a setting for this. I have a 4.5 meters distance between me and my protagonist. So I was ready to speak with them, having the rules of pandemic in my mind at the same time. And at the same time, the people were so hungry to speak, because you remember the first lockdown. So it was a situation that you cannot even speak with somebody on the street, and the people started to be very, very alone. And so this kind of balcony conversation, once again, it was the best way to communicate or to meet another person.
Can you speak a bit about the balcony as part of the film, of course, and for you to be in a safe space, far from the people, as you said, talking to them, but also being higher than them and looking down? Was there a sense of superiority?
Question. No. I tried to avoid it. Of course, I was on the first floor, but in the same time, I was giving a space, a liberty to my protagonist, because if I start to make this film in the level of the pavement, it would be kind of TV, sonda, like a questioning for TV, and it was not. It was. I'm always looking for a new point of view in my films, a new point of view on people, a new point of view on reality. So I was on floor number 1, but I was not in an upper position. I tried to arrange, normal human contact with the passers-by. Sometimes the male characters were saying, "Oh, you are up then on the first floor, so if you go down, I will speak with you, but because if not, no way." But I didn't have any of this kind of remarks from the female characters of the film. They didn't care about it completely.
So that's an interesting observation of the difference.
Yes,
between
another sociological observation.
Yeah.
Yes, it's much better to speak with women characters, with women in our art, than with men, in my opinion,
Right.
of course.
And you spoke to 2,000 people. How did you decide who got into the film? And I assume that many did not make the cut of the final film.
Yes, I spoke with many characters, and during the editing, which was a very hard process, 2 young editors helped me. Their name is Piasek and Wójcik. They are working together, 2 editors together, which is very rare. And so they helped me a lot, because I didn't have a distance to the material. And in the beginning, we are trying to put the characters or the themes together, like the theme of divorce, like theme of love, like theme of meaning of life, like theme of everyday life, or theme of money or work. But it was very boring, because what was the main thing that kept me on the balcony was my curiosity. I was curious who will enter my frame, what is his or her story, and what will be the next encounter. So I tried to make the audience feel the same, like who will be next. And putting the themes together, it was it was too easy. So we spent a year in the editing room trying to make. We landed with, I think, 54 rough cuts versions of the movie. Because it's like Jenga tower, when you take out one piece of wood, everything is going down. So any change make us to view from the new older film. So I was trying to get back to my feelings which I had during the shooting. If I felt something during the conversation, that it was funny, or it was very sad, or I was touched or something, that was the material that I was probably would be in the film. And if I was bored during the conversation, of course, I decided to take off this material from the movie. And
The
of course,
editing must have been,
yes, and of course, I have a lot of great characters that I have to take away from the movie, because it's 1 hour 40. It's the longest film I ever made.
Wow. Yeah, no, I assume this is one of the main challenges that you had to face, is to which characters will remain in the film, and the editing, as you described, was a difficult process. And I must say that you've done with the editors, an amazing job, because it is a film that when you watch it, you do want to see what's happening next and what's coming next.
Yes.
You certainly achieved that.
That's great.
And it wasn't a linear, I assume, right? It wasn't a linear editing either, when it comes to the time of the year or the season or the time of shooting.
Yes, it was the main obstacle of using the material, because I had a very good scenes, but they are in a winter, so I cannot take it from winter, make it in a summer. And from 2.5 years of shooting, we managed to make a round of 1 year only. Because in the beginning, I was thinking that to stay there only for 12 months. But then I was waiting for my characters, like, for example, the Robert, the guy who left the prison a couple days before we met. So I was waiting for him, really. He didn't have a telephone, or he was with a homeless guy. So I was waiting for him for months, because we didn't have any other contact. I waiting for him to come. So from 1 year, it's prolongated to 2.5 years. But I managed to make 2 movies, a short for HBO Max and a big one or long one, the balcony movie.
Great. What was the most surprising conversation that you had during making this film?
I like very much the conversation I made with this very shy girl. It's a conversation on winter, and she's so shy. She's with a trolley and with sticks. She was having sticks with her, not only for winter, but for 4 seasons, because she felt much more safer when she has something in her hand. And she was so intimidating that she didn't want to talk with me. And so one day I managed to her to come closer to my camera. I was very happy, and she was happy as well, because she broke her how to say her inner border, but it was
the
not
boundaries.
Boundaries, but it was not a violation. It was kind of we managed to create a contact, and she kept coming back to my place, and I was kind of she was confessing me what is happening in her life. It was very touching for me. But in the end, we put only 2 scenes with her in the movie, like one with a conversation and the other one in the spring, when she's waving her to me with her hand, like kind of a sign of a communion that was built between the protagonist and the director.
Well, for filmmakers, go ahead.
Yes, each story was so surprising. I really don't remember. From 2000 conversation, I have to refresh my memory from time to time and go further. But this meeting with the guy with the jailbird, Robert, it was something so interesting and dramatic. And we are in touch right now here. And I know that he came back to his family, and he has 2 children. And he even buy himself a dog, because he invited me that I have a dog, and he didn't. So I think he came back to the normal social life, which is good. Small happy end in the film, after the film.
So how many of the people that are in the film you mentioned Robert, but are you keeping in touch or seeing them from time to time out, on the street?
On the street, I'm saying I'm in my neighborhood when I'm taking my dog for a walk. I feel like I would be a part of the Truman Show. You remember the movie?
Yes.
The Truman Show, like somebody is living in a studio, but he's thinking that he's living in the normal life. So I have a lot of meetings every day, and I'm waving hands to my neighbors. But the difference is that I know much more than their names or family names. I know their stories, sometimes very intimate stories. And I think that don't remember that they gave me the stories. It was, 4 years ago. So, but I remember it. So it's very, but it's good, and it's tricky to be in a neighborhood that everybody's so deep, like in a small village. So I
Yeah.
keep in touch with a janitor, with Miss Zosia, with Jadwiga, the old lady, quarreling a bit with me, and I keep in touch with the guy who's not drinking anymore. He was an alcoholic. He said he was in a 34 years in a fog, and you have to imagine that he was a pilot, a military pilot, and heavy drinker. And his name is Piotr. We are in touch almost every day. He sent me some kind of memes on WhatsApp. And sometimes I'm in contact with Robert and with Agnieszka, the winter girl, the shy one. So, but the craziest thing is that film is very popular right now in Poland. It's in the cinemas, it's in HBO Max as well. And the people, and I don't have anymore my equipments on the balcony, but people are coming to the balcony, but not only the neighbors, the people from all the Warsaw or sometimes from other cities. It's like kind of city game, to find the balcony and to make a selfie under the balcony. So I'm observing completely fantastic, but I'm not going out anymore because it's too much.
They're probably disappointed not to see the camera. Yeah.
Maybe they are, but the experiment is done, and but that even. Add to the place in on the Google map. This is the place where the balcony movie was made. The cultural,
So
the cultural place. it's very. I'm really surprised, but it's a small movie, simple setting and small movie, just conversation with people. But as far as I can see, we the human beings, we still have a big need of conversation,
Absolutely, in this time of age, especially, I think if anything, this film tells us to open up to strangers and talk to them. We're taught as children not to do that, but I think we are craving that, and we should. And I think your example is so beautiful because it you now know your neighbors and people in your neighborhood more than probably anyone else living in your neighborhood.
Yes, and they are much more open to each other as well, because it was a kind of social experiment. And I have heard that sometimes in the shops they keep asking themselves, like, have you speak with this crazy guy on the balcony? And the other one was answering, yes, I did. So you can go there. He's not so crazy as he looks like.
That's right. Great. We're going to open up the questions to the audience now. And I think we'll go to the first one, which is Julia, who is asking, she's noticed your wife appearing in the films a couple of times. And you've mentioned how you and your wife like to spend time on the balcony, and how the whole idea started. But, we're wondering here, and Julia is wondering whether she, okay with you spending so much time on your balcony, probably on your own without her making this film.
Yeah.
And was there any time when it was hard on the relationship?
Julia, it was not easy for my wife. I think I'm banned. I cannot say nothing about her emotions, but you can see it in the film that we have a very difficult time. Even now, when I'm speaking with you, she's on the beach. She's waiting for me to be with her and our dog Ruzia. And but I have to say that without Agnieszka, my wife, I would never make this film. Because she's not only one of the protagonists, she was a co-producer of the film or producer of the movie, and she was my wife, supporting me all the time. She was a first viewer of all the material I shot, and she was helping me with editing as well. So we are together as a creative team. But of course, in the same time, we was quarreling, and she was not very happy with me standing on the balcony or being inside our apartment, but having my ear always trying to pick some voices from outside. So because it was happened very often that we have a dinner, and in the middle of the dinner, I was listening to one of my protagonists, and I decided to take out my camera and to make a small conversation, 15 minutes during the dinner. So of course it was
Not
hard.
easy. No.
Not easy. It was, it was for the first time that I was making this kind of experimental film. But because normally, I'm trying to look for my protagonists, or in Warsaw or other cities in Poland, or sometimes in other countries, and chasing for my protagonists, asking them to be in a movie, trying to be a friend with them, and to go into their houses to build kind of intimacy. And this time I was simply wondering what would be if I changed the rules of the game. If I change my position, I will be nailed in one place in the balcony. So if it's possible that the whole world will come into my frame. So that was the goal of the experiment. Why to move when you can stop? And I feel, and I believe after this film, that from the balcony one can see more.
Great. All right. The next question is from Jason. Was there a lot of material you had to edit out? I think we talked about it a little bit. Anything that you were said to edit out?
Edit out. Listen, Jason, I'm avoiding to watch the movie with the audience right now, because I have a new ideas how to edit it, and I have in my mind not less than 20-25 other characters that I really want to put in the movie. But in the end, less is more. So I decided I prefer that the spectator will be hungry for see 5 more minutes of the film, that he was bored and stuck in our dramaturgy, in our construction of the movie. So it's much better like this. And I didn't count the hours of the material, but of course, yes, as we said, I had like 2,000.
Tremendous.
Yes, tremendous hours.
All right. Next one from Victoria. What gave you the idea of the film?
Life, as usual. I didn't have an idea for the movie, so it's true that what I'm saying to my protagonist in the beginning of the film. So I'm making a casting. I'm looking for a good protagonist. I'm trying to invent the story. And it was true, because I was thinking that maybe it will be just the beginning of the movie, that the camera is on the balcony, and after 15 minutes of the film, the camera is going down, and I'm following one of protagonists, like, for example, Robert or Pani Zosia, the janitor, because both of them are more my favorite characters. So I didn't know if I be able to be in this so strict position, that only almost one frame and one position of the camera. It was an experiment.
Mm-hmm. And I read somewhere that you said you're making films because you're looking for answers to life's question. And I wonder if this film helped you to find some answers to your questions.
They are. I think there are always questions. There are no good answers, and of course the answer of the old lady in the end of the film, that what is the meaning of life, and she said, "Life is the meaning." That's my favorite one, of course, especially for her. Every day, each new day was a good one. Or she died during the movie, unfortunately, but. Yes, asking questions. I think it's one of the reasons of human life. Asking questions, not giving the straight answers. As Mr. Kieślowski, the famous Polish film director, used to say, he was saying, "My profession is not to know." That I believe that's true. So my profession is not to know the answers. It's just to looking for it in the name of myself, looking for it, and in the name of my spectators.
Great. Next question is from Daniel, who is saying, how did you get the permission from all the people in the documentary?
I don't know. When I started to shoot, I met a friend of mine who is a lawyer, and I was asking him if it's possible to use the voice and the image of the people who are passing without, for example, without any dialogue. And he said, no way. Those days you have to get a permission from everybody. So it was a very bad news for me. And after each scene that I shot, I asked people. So I was like saying goodbye, good eye, thank you very much, and I was counting to five, and then, excuse me, I have another question. Can you give me your telephone number or email address, please? And so they are giving these data to me, those data, and so after, when I have kind of very close rough cut, like I have 80, let's say 85, 90 people in a movie, we started to search for those people. And mostly it was okay, but some of them, for example, changed the telephone number or didn't answer our emails. So I was obliged to ask another neighbors, like a guy who is selling the flowers on our street, like Pani Zosia, the caretaker of our house, or other people who know many neighbors. So I was attacking them with a screenshot of my protagonist. Do you know this one? Do you know this man? Do you know this woman? And some of them, it took me, for example, like 6 months to find a Robert, the homeless guy, because I was even wrote letters to the police station asking that maybe he's in jail. But the answer was not, he's not in jail, which was not true, but because he was in jail meanwhile, after between our last encounter during on winter and the encounter that we have just for signing the papers. So finally I got him through the Facebook of his brother, and we met. So this is a story for another film, how to find your protagonist. For example, the guy who was a runner with a white shirt, and he was saying that the main goal of his life was to have a family and children, and he didn't accomplish it, and he was very sad in the end of the conversation. So he was kind of a neighbor, but I was looking for him for more than 6 months. It's like, it was crazy situation. But in the end, I was taking my dog for a walk to the Skaryszewski Park, which is nearby, having my dog, and suddenly I saw somebody on the bike. He was like ahead of me, and I was like, oh, maybe this is the guy. He's bald as the other one. So I was trying to, it was kind of race, because I have to catch him and ask him, Mr. Piotr, is that you? And in the end, it was true. And but I didn't have any. It was luck. But I didn't have any problems with having the agreement with them. So, because even one conversation make us very, very close to each other. So they didn't feel oppressed by my question. Didn't feel attacked. I was not never provoking them with the questions. I liked them, and they started to like me. So I think that this is the best way to make documentaries.
Absolutely.
I tried to do my best. Yes.
And I know we have time for one more question, but before we go to that, I'm curious about the people in the film watching it eventually, now that it's out there. Do you know about any reaction from the people in the film? What do they think about it?
You mean the protagonist?
Yes.
For example, Miss Zosia, the janitor, when I asked her to go to the Warsaw premiere, which was in the Palace of Culture, this is a very big Stalinist building, the main building for years, the higher one in the center of Warsaw. And I told her the screening will be in the Palace of Culture. And she said, oh, that's great, because I've never been there before. So I was completely shocked, and she didn't have time to go to the center of the city as she living in Warsaw for more than 50 years. It was very sad. But during the premiere, she was very, very happy. She was waving like English queen to the audience, saying hello, hello, hello. And,
Nice,
and of course,
nice.
the DJ, the girl with, let's say, the Botox girl, the DJ Angela, she was with me on 5 or 6 Q&As in Warsaw, coming back, and because she adored to be on the stage.
That's great. You gave them their moment of fame there. And the last question from Alexandro: what was the most memorable exchange? I asked you earlier about
I think
similar
we
question,
have...
but this is different.
Mm-hmm. Memorable exchange.
Yeah.
There was one guy who asked me to go down and to speak with him, and so I did, because in the beginning I didn't really know what will be the setting of it. So I was thinking that maybe once I will be on a balcony and the other day I will be down. So I got down to speak with him, and we spoke behind the fence, and he said, so I will go, and he was a bit aggressive guy. And then I have shaken with him up the fence, and he was trying to break my arm. Smiling. It was very funny for him that he was like, oh, now I will show you who is up and who is down. Mm-hmm. But it was the only and the one situation with kind of
and obviously
aggression.
Made it memorable.
Made it memorable, of course.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah,
Paweł,
yeah.
Go ahead.
Thank you very much, Dan. No, I will.
No, it's I'm sorry that our time is up,
okay.
but it's a pleasure to have you here. And I just want to mention also that you said that the film just won an award last week in Poland. So congratulations.
Yes.
Oh,
Polskie Orły, Polish Eagles. Yes.
The Polish Eagles. So congratulations.
Great.
And the film is available online to watch here in New Zealand until the 10th of July. So if you haven't watched it yet, anyone in the audience, please make sure you watch the Balcony movie. And Paweł, thank you so much for again being with us during your holiday. And for the audience in the virtual hub, you're welcome. And for the audience in the virtual hub, the XR exhibition is still open for another hour, so check it out. There are wonderful projects from New Zealand and around the world in an interactive way. So thank you again, Paweł. And
thank you. Please see the film and meet my neighbors. They are fantastic people.
Certainly are.
See the film. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Paweł.